Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. I am Joe Abeta, and today my guest is the Director of Emergency Management, David Silver. How you doing today, Dave?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing good. You've been a busy man, right? These last
been
couple
a
of weeks.
busy week, yeah.
Yes. No, it's crazy. So what for a storm to happen, a 1 in 1,000 year storm to happen, right? That's pretty crazy.
It's definitely not something we see every day.
Yes. What we see.
One in the-
Well, yeah, and every 1,000 years we see
Well,
it,
that's not
right?
exactly how the ratio works,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. But it's been a long time since we've had something like this. I don't remember anything like this growing up. I don't think you
I
do
don't
either.
remember anything like this.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. It made national news. We see these videos of all this rain in the arroyos. That's pretty insane, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do, man? I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. What did you do? Like your first,
Well-
when you got first wind of it, I mean, were you sitting by the Dave red phone that we have at the city and hey, we have something up here coming up, or
No, it's not as dramatic as that.
Okay, all right.
What we did is initially we tried to get out and get an assessment as to what happened.
Okay.
Right? It was in the evening.
Okay.
We got a lot of flooding calls that came into 911 and just got out there and did a very quick assessment as to what happened.
Okay.
And pretty quickly we started to identify that this was something that was beyond a normal storm.
Okay.
At that time, we didn't know that it was a proposed 1 in 1,000 year storm.
Yeah.
We didn't know that the Weather Service detected 3.7 inches
Okay.
of rain.
Okay. So we saw videos of a lot of firemen, police officers helping people out with cars getting flooded in.
Yeah, that's like the immediate response.
Yes.
Right? So that's what people are seeing. You're seeing a lot of YouTube videos about that. Our first responders are out there helping folks that are in immediate need, that they're trapped in their vehicles, swiftwater rescues, things like that. And that was the immediate response that took place.
So what would you, because a lot of this now, it's also, we can see it as a lesson, a teaching moment for us as a community. If something like this were to happen again, or something a smaller version of this would happen, would the lesson be don't drive your cars in water that looks deep?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually something that we try and preach all the time is
Okay.
don't enter flooded roadways, don't enter flooded arroyos and ditches, low-lying areas. It takes as little as 12 inches to sweep a vehicle away.
Okay.
So it doesn't take a lot of water. And as you saw in those videos that were all over YouTube and Facebook,
Yeah.
there was quite a bit of water in some of those arroyos and those streams, and people were still driving through them. So that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And people think that their car can just continue through that, and we saw in many cases that vehicles were stuck, people got trapped, and that's why we had to have first responders go out there and rescue them from vehicles.
Yeah, and a lot of our arroyo system, it's kind of interesting, right? Because how many arroyos are there? Is there like
I'm
is there
not
like
sure if
two
there's-
main ones, two main arteries, three main arteries?
There's a couple main ones that come through the town, but then there's a number of tributary distributors that.
Yeah. And and they got pretty high. I know that around the Santa Fe High, Yucca, Zia area, that arroyo that was going through Santa Fe High got really high, right?
Yes, yeah, they got very high. And then what's interesting is that we have some stream gauge data that's down kind of in the southern part of the county where the Santa Fe River enters Cochiti. And usually that's pretty dry because not much water actually reaches that far.
Yeah.
The stream gauge data we saw looked like it was between 200 and 250 cubic foot per second
Oh, wow.
water going through there that evening.
Wow.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, it is. And this just came from the sky, right? I mean, it wasn't anything that, I know
come
that
from
it
the
was,
sky.
yeah, well, it all gathered from the tributaries, right? That
Yes.
goes into the main area that
Yep.
make it bigger. But it's pretty amazing on how much water fell within the amount of time.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
pretty crazy.
3.7 inches,
Yeah.
a mile south west of the plaza is the highest that the National Weather Service saw from their
Wow.
records. Historically, the last highest storm that they recorded in the Santa Fe metro area was 3.61 inches
Okay.
back in July 1968.
Okay, I wasn't even alive.
Nor was I.
I don't think you were either. Yeah. Okay, so then you make your assessments, and then so what have you guys been doing now the last since the storm?
Yeah, so since the storm, we've been doing a lot of damage assessments. We've been working with various folks from across the city and then various partners from outside the city to go around and look at preliminary damage that took place. Interior to homes is what we really focus on. And that data that we gather, we can roll up from kind of a state level because there were a number of storms that have taken place across the state this past week. And what we're trying to do is justify to the state and to the federal government that this was a large storm that took place and that we need assistance. And that individuals need assistance out there, that their homes were impacted by this.
Yeah.
So we actually have FEMA folks on the ground.
Okay.
They were here in Santa Fe yesterday. They'll be back for other days this week.
Okay.
And they're out there looking over our assessments that we did and doing some of their own assessments.
Gotcha. How many houses would you say, can you say, that were affected by the storm?
You know, one thing that is hard to capture is every single home that was impacted.
Okay.
We only know about the homes
That
of
people
folks
call
that
in
have
about,
called
right?
in.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're encouraging folks to do is call constituent services.
Okay.
And we're capturing the information and that someone's home was impacted, and we're sending out assessment teams.
Okay.
So as of this morning, we had 296 requests for home assessments.
Oh, wow.
And we've completed 151 of those, so just over 50%.
Is there a particular area that's focused on?
You know, I've seen the damage assessment maps, and it's kind of distributed throughout the city. It really depended on if there
Different
was-
reasons, right?
Yep.
You could live in a house that maybe has like a mud, like a hill in your backyard, and all this water just came rushing in and pushed all this mud. And I mean, there's different scenarios, correct?
Yeah, and it's not like you see in other places where there's just low-lying areas and water sticks around and it stays for days and days. Most of the water that we have ran off within a day, right? So when you're driving around town, you're thinking, well, nothing happened.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I
we're
drive
fine.
into town and I'm just like, oh, look, there was a little bit of dirt on there. They cleaned it up,
see
the
a little
street
dirt.
cleaners. And
There's a lot of people out there that are still
Yeah.
suffering through this.
Gotcha.
That still have they have a long recovery ahead of them. So I think that we need to keep that in our minds, is that there are people out there that are still having trouble with their homes. They might not be able to be in their homes right now because of the damage that took place.
So it's not only the city. I know that it takes a community, a village, right, to work together with this. What other organizations have locally been putting their step forward?
Yeah,
to
so
help
we've
you guys
had,
out? Putting their step forward.
We've had a ton of support from local communities. Some of the big ones that we've had supporting us are the Red Cross, the American Red Cross. They sent folks even from Arizona to help support this.
Oh, wow.
We have Team Rubicon, which is another non.
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
the guy got an ESPY.
Did he?
Team Rubicon, yeah.
Hey.
The head guy was in the Marines.
Yeah.
Was a football player at Wisconsin.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got an ESPY.
So they're out here helping us,
Okay.
doing a lot of debris cleanup.
That's awesome.
We have the Southern Baptist Disaster Relief folks.
Okay.
They're also supporting us and the county.
Okay.
Tons of people from across the city. We have a number of people from internal in the city who came out to support doing sandbagging operations. We had Youth Works out there. We had Keep Santa Fe Beautiful. Tremendous support that came out.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so how long, usually, are there any kind of stats of how long something like this takes to wrap it up, to close it? Everybody is taken care of and you close the case on this?
You know, every emergency, every disaster is different. We haven't seen anything like this in Santa Fe in, many years, if ever anything actually comparable. So I don't think there's a way to say how long it'll take. Again, a lot of people are back to living their normal life.
Yeah.
But there are some people that are still impacted, and that may be weeks to months.
Okay.
Maybe even longer. It really just depends on the impact to their homes.
Gotcha. Okay, David. Well, I know you're busy. I want to say, man, I know you. I've worked with you. I've seen you. We see each other in the hallways, and I know you're always doing things to prepare for anything to happen here in the city. You're on top of stuff. So I know we got the right man here heading us and making sure and taking care of our community. So thank you and your staff and everybody for all the hard work. I know you guys put a lot of hours in and stuff too, of overtime and stuff, to make sure all this is going. You just don't clock in at 8 o'clock and then leave at 5 and then resume starting at 8 o'clock again. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work like that.
So I just got to commend you guys in the Constituent Services Office, everybody, all the staff that have come in, and I know that you've taken the lead on that, and so thanks again for everything you've done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to do a shameless plug for our alert
Yeah.
system.
Yes.
We have a new alert system called Alert Santa Fe.
Okay.
And I want to
Twitter,
encourage
right?
people to sign up. That's how they
Okay.
get notifications. We used
Okay.
to use Nixle. We're still using Nixle, but this
Yeah.
is a more robust platform.
Okay.
So folks can sign up by going to alert.santafenm.gov.
Okay, and there's an app too, right? Or no? Is
There's
that
an
part of
app
it?
that's something similar, but
Okay.
that's more how to prepare for
Gotcha.
things.
Okay.
That's called Ready Santa Fe. If you
Okay.
look on the App Store for Google or for Android, you'll find it.
Okay, great. And then also follow you on Twitter as well.
Yep, follow us on social media.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Well, thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
David Silver, awesome guy, busy. but took some time here to give us an update. So thanks again. Folks, thank you for joining us. I want to thank Adrian and Christina, our director and producer of the show. And thank you, folks. Have a safe week. Have a great week.